My name is Heddie Alston-Somerville, and I am the assistant principal at Pinkston Street Elementary in Henderson. I have been at Pinkston Street for 19 years. I have taught 5th grade communication skills and have been in administration for the last 2 years.
My name is Mary Williams, and I am the school guidance counselor at Pinkston Street Elementary School. I have been in education for 28 years. For 20 years, I was a classroom teacher, and for the last 8, I've been a school guidance counselor.
Pinkston Street is an inner city school. We have 97% of our students are on free and reduced lunch. Our population is mostly African American, single parent households. Most of our kids' parents, the majority of them, I would say maybe 40% did not graduate high school. The rest maybe did graduate high school, but that's it. We've had a situation this year that a parent came to us and said, look, my neighbor has a child at home that's 7 and they're not at school. So we have to then send our social worker out to investigate, and we've actually had to go get kids. Oh, I didn't have a way to register them. Things like that. So we actually, so we do have some students who take advantage of the Smart Start program, the More at 4 program, but not all of our kids come prepared in that manner.
At the beginning of school, we take the teachers on a bus tour of the neighborhood, and especially our new teachers. And so they get to see firsthand the neighborhoods that our students come from. And a lot of times I've had to go into the neighborhood, and I've seen from the community meetings, we've had a lot of neighborhood problems, bullying, picking on each other, fighting. Some of the parents don't get along. And so that causes a problem. When they come back to school, they bring it back to school. And Ms. Somerville and I have to try to figure out a way to handle that.
According to our testing data, we were losing ground with our African American males.
We came to NCCAT. The presenter was Dr. Ernest Johnson. He did a seminar on the at-risk African American male, and we were able to implement some of the strategies and techniques that he talked about.
He talked about how, we need to make our school look like the kids that we're serving. We had pictures of Dr. Seuss reading and, different famous people reading. He suggests that we take pictures of the kids reading and post them around the building like we do the posters
and
of everyone
the teachers. We were also,
because we now have a
featured
teacher wall of fame
with our favorite book.
Yeah.
So all of the teachers, administrators, custodians had a shot taken with their favorite book, and that's posted around the school. So the kids actually see us enjoying reading.
Now they have conversation and dialogue about, things that they're reading on the walls. Oh, look, I read that book that Ms. Williams has in her hand and her picture. So, and sometimes they will go check out the book, that they see on the posters with the kids reading. So it was a wonderful strategy, wonderful.
The last seminar that we came to was titled Dr. Martin Luther King, Power of the Dream. After a couple days at NCCAT, then we all went as a team to Atlanta, and we went to Morehouse College, and we met Dr. Reverend C.T. Vivian, and I can remember him talking about how important it is for us to find support for these young African males that we teach. And through that, we went back to our school and sort of brainstormed and came up with the Gentlemen's Society.
It was just a group of at-risk boys that we started in 5th grade that we knew didn't have any type of parental support. We brought them together. We met every Wednesday, and we basically formed this organization. They were able to write their own bylaws. They elected their officers. They wrote their pledge, and Ms. Williams and I supported as the advisors over this committee. We gave them a set of rules and regulations that, they came up with some of them. We kind of guided them where we wanted them to be.
And if they did not adhere to the goals, the other members of the club of the society called them on it. They would say, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. That's not a good example that you're setting.
Some of the students who were behavior problems in the beginning, and that's why we targeted some of these students. They actually mentored some kindergarten students that they had to go read to. So we really talked to them about the importance of these little kids looking
Setting
up to
good
them.
examples.
Right. On the bus, if you're getting off the bus pushing, that's not a good example that you're setting, and that should make you feel bad as a mentor that you're not guiding these little people. So we really put it in their conscience, because a lot of times we find out these kids, they have no conscience about what they're doing. They don't feel bad, no remorse. So we really kind of really instill that within them. And then they got the rewards of it, of people respecting them. Teachers coming up and say, look, can I put you down to mentor a student? And one student was like, I didn't believe so many teachers knew my name. And you're doing such a great job. Why wouldn't they know who you are?
And on Fridays, they would dress up in suits, ties, shirts, ties, and really be noticed, and the rest of the school would look at them. It really helped build the morale of the students.
And we had students from lower grade levels saying, I can't wait till I get to 5th grade so I could be in the Gentleman's Society.
When we were with Dr. Johnson at NCCAT, when we went on the road trip ourselves down to Morehouse College, talking with the gentlemen there, they found a need in really stressing the fact that we get the kids at a young age interested in thinking about the different colleges. And that's when Miss Somerville, as a 5th grade teacher at that time, had the idea of writing different colleges and asking them to, send brochures and different things back to the students.
I just pulled up a list of historical black colleges and universities online, and each student was assigned a university. And we went through teaching the writing process, the 5 parts and all of that. What are we going to say? We're going to introduce ourselves, and we're just going to tell them what we want. And the response was just overwhelming. I just really thought they would send, just a cover letter, something they send, everybody would say the same. But for these colleges and universities to take the time to address each student by name, and I know they read their letters because they referenced their personal goals that they put in their letters. It was so overwhelming. I mean, my principal and I just cried one day because I just could not believe the response. So I know that these people in the higher institutions are promoting and want us to start preparing students earlier. And sometimes we feel that they don't, but just from this experience, they support me. And what Spelman did actually was very interesting. They sent us a list of things that 5th graders must do to go to college. And I gave a copy to every child, and it was just so amazing. From grades 5 through 7, you must do this. From 7 through 9, you must do this. So the kids were actually held accountable, and they held themselves accountable.
And we actually have on our hall, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade hall, entering College Row up above it. And then when you leave out, it says leaving College Row. So they're reminded of that daily, that they too can follow a dream and work towards something.
I had a call about 2 months ago from one of my students, guidance counselor at the middle school, and she was having a very bad day, maybe about a week worth of bad days. And the counselor called me, and she was like, Miss Somerville, this was one of your students, and you teach them that they're going to go to college. And I was like, oh, yes. May I speak with her on the phone, please? And I just simply lit into her. This is not how a college student acts. You're going to Miles College. And she came back the next semester, report card great. The counselor just called me. We're now in dialogue about the actual program and what we did. And so the kids can, if they're just held accountable for it,
and
they
know
can
they
do
have
it.
people to support them.
Yes.
And, have the feedback, and for them to come back to sort of like their home and know that we will support them. That makes a big difference.
And we don't stop supporting their dreams, even
As they move on.
Yes,
They still come back and
they
visit.
do. We have one of my students I had in the 5th grade. He just came back from studying abroad, so he came back and did a presentation for my students. I've had some students who are now classroom teachers. I bring them back to speak to my students. One that's a producer, and he's acting all over the world. He just came back this year to speak to the students. So I tell them, I can't wait to see what you have to bring back to Miss Somerville, Miss Williams, and Pinkston Street.